do 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 do. All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome aboard today's Monday musing stream here. As always, every single week here, or at least we try to do it every single week here on this fine Monday afternoon here. Hopefully, y'all are having a great Monday yourselves here. I know Mondays are always kind of a hard day. We're getting done with the weekend. It's back to work and such. It's especially when the days here is now starting to get a little bit nicer. It just gets a little bit harder to sometimes walk back into that office or wherever you work and put aside the weekend here for a few more days yet. But hope it's all been a good day for a lot of you. Of course, those y'all new to the channel here, or if you're coming in here as we do this live, or if you're watching the replay, however you're watching, greatly appreciate it either way. My name is Austin, and of course, this is Fantastic Freaks. And suddenly a little itch on the nose there. Not sure how that happened. But yes, today I want to talk a little bit about plywood tanks. Obviously, big 510-gallon plywood tank right behind me, which is in the final stages of its cycling. Honestly, very, very close here. I expect hopefully by before this week is through to hopefully add our Maboo puffer to that. If so, obviously there'll be a video on that, maybe a live stream on it as well. But for right now, just a little more work yet to be done, but it's right there. It's right there. Got some awesome folks I see already in the chat here as we get this started. Rye Guy Outdoors. Good to see you, Rye Guy. Also towards the other folks here as well. We got Leo 209 Aquatics saying hi all. Hi to you, Leo. Hope it's been a good one for you, man. And Leo just got a 60-gallon breeder. Good on you, man. Those tanks are awesome. I once had a 60 breeder myself. I actually bought one while I went to Aquaticon in Knoxville, Tennessee last April in 2022. Of course, that was also one of the tanks, though, that I traded as well for the 510 plywood tank, as well as a 210 and a 125 I had. So I never ended up getting to use it, but someday I'm probably going to get another 60 breeder again because, yeah, those are really cool tanks. It's just a little smaller than a 75, but still plenty of options you can do with those. Good on you, Leo. I'm excited for you. One of the three awesome moderators is here. Of course, I'm talking Liquids the Only Fins. How's it going, Matt? Hope it's been a good day for you, sir. Always appreciate what you do for the Fish Fam, and of course the fishfam.link there. Man, that's doing all sorts of good stuff there. We got Sky Dancer saying hello. Back at you, Sky. Good to see you here. All sorts of awesome fish folk here going on down, up, and let's see, we're about 3.5 minutes in, and the chat jumps on me for the first time. Hopefully that doesn't reoccur too many times. We got Christine Hansen saying hello. How's it going, Christine? Good to see you here. And speaking of Fish Fam link here, there it is. Fish Fam link saying, hey, Fish Fam. Back at you. Appreciate you being here. Fellow Iowan, we got Sketty saying hello. Hello to you as well, Sketty. I said fellow Iowan here as well. Always great to see anybody here, but especially when we got a fellow in-state person as well, a little something extra special there as well. We also got Bunny Viper Aquatics coming in here. How's it going, Ivy? Good to see you. We also got Ricky De Hoyos, a longtime supporter of this channel. Appreciate you, Ricky, for coming by here once again as we get this Monday musing started. And Matt apparently also got a 60 breeder as well. That must be the tank of the week or something. But yeah, I think 60 breeders, those are awesome tanks. I mean, it's got that 18-inch dimension. I mean, it's basically a 75, just shorter. I mean, it's a very good tank, and I definitely think at some point I'm probably going to get one of those down here again because there's a lot of fish on my list, as well as some fish that I've kept in the past that I want to get again that I think a 60 breeder would fit pretty well for. As we keep on going here, we also got Coro. How's it going? Saying, hey, friends. Hey to you, Coro. Welcome aboard here on Monday Musings as we get this going. Appreciate you dropping by as always. Rye Guy, I have pea puffer fry. Very exciting. Good for you, man. What do you recommend feeding them? I myself have never cared for pea puffer fry, but I would say that a little brine shrimp hatchery, almost like a lot of other fish, would be a good way to go. Like little live brine shrimp hatchery would be probably a good move there. Outside of that, I think that'd be the main thing that, at least if I was in that situation, that's probably what I would do. But again, haven't kept them myself, as puffers can be a challenging fish to breed. So again, good on you for finding the formula there. But that'd be my main recommendation, is get you a brine shrimp hatchery and get that going in there. Going through the chat. We got Silver Creek Aquatics saying, what up? That got you, Silver Creek. Hope it's been a great day and nothing bad has been what up. Whatever that was I just did there, I'm not sure. Mystery Snail Guardians, snailing it as always. Appreciate you, Annette, coming on in here saying, and there it is with the snail bit. Looks like that's something resembling maybe a ram's horn, perhaps. Always and snailing it as always. I love that. Never gets old. We got Tanked Aquatics coming in here. Friday is my day to sneak into the house with a 40 breeder if I dare. There you go. I mean, hey, 40 breeders are good too. I got a couple of those down here right now, which one's holding in a bi puffer, the other one holding my Maboo puffer as its first draw out tank, but not for much longer. I wouldn't say much more than a week or two probably at this point. 2, I can't see it going past 2 or too much past 2 before we finally get him in here behind me in the 510-gallon plywood tank, although I am setting up more filtration on this thing here too. I'll get into that here in a minute. Continuing through the chat here. Uh-oh. I need to get like a siren sound effect or something. Ladies and gentlemen, the stream has officially been busted. We have the wife. Yes, alert. The wife has made the chat. I'll decide though. Mrs. Freak, also one of my 3 awesome moderators there as well. Appreciate you, dearest. Hope you're getting done with work there soon, as she should be. And she should be coming home here soon, within the next, I believe, 45 minutes or so. Hour, whatever it be. Whatever it is, though, looking forward to you coming home. All right, I've done my due diligence there. We got Collaboration to Curiosity saying, good morning. Well, over here, it's closer to good evening. Well, actually, we're right on the cusp of afternoon and evening here. It's quarter after 5 p.m. here in Council Bluffs, Iowa. But I know you've told me before, CLC, and I have a horrendous memory. But I believe you're overseas somewhere. But yes, I can't fully remember where the heck you're from. And like I say, I know you've told me before. But again, my memory is horrible. Going through the chat, let's see. It looks like I'm getting closer. Checking through the chat like the Mario Kart star. Everyone's like, that can stop whenever. I'm with you. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Matt. Believe that, PetSmart is, or not PetSmart, Petco, rather, is having their $1 per gallon / 50% off sale. So, yeah, there you go. And, 60-gallon breeder for just $100. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's way less than what I paid for my 60-gallon breeder, which I never ended up using before I traded it off to get this plywood tank. But alas, going through. We also got Demon Blader coming in here saying, hey, howdy, Demon. Good to see you here. Going through. Let's see. Demon Blader is apparently just getting back from school. Very good. It's always one of the best feelings ever, right? Just getting done with, school and such, and then it's like, freedom! Going through here. Uh-oh, I think I might have missed something. Hey, I almost missed Josh and Jessica. We got the Metalheads, Aquatic Mayhem. Josh and Jessica, another awesome channel right there, who will be streaming right after us there, guys. So make sure when we're done here, head on over to their channel and give them some love there as you go over to their stream once we wrap it up here. Of course, we'll drop a link here in the chat as well before we get done and such. But I believe Josh and Jessica are starting to get close to 400 subs as well. I think they're a little under 50 away. So if those of you that are here that maybe have not already seen their channel or not subscribed, give them a shot. And if you like what you see, give them some click that subscribe button for him. Let's help him get to 400, and that'll, inch him closer to 500, which is halfway to that golden 1,000 sub mark. Going down here, we also got Paul McCarthy in here. How's it going, Paul? Good to see you. All sorts of awesome folks here. Promise we're going to start talking about plywood tanks here soon, but just want to make sure we say hello to everyone that I see here currently. We also got Mark Sturlson saying good day, everyone. Good day to you, Mark. Good day, Governor Mark. Indeed. We also got Big Shrimpin' Pimpin' Steve C. I know. Every time I say Big Shrimpin', I feel like Pimpin's got to be in there somewhere. I know there's a channel that actually does that. But Steve, awesome to see you. Saying hello to everyone there. And there you go. I've already forgot who asked the question earlier, but Tanked Aquatics coming in here saying baby pea puffers will eat. I'm horrible at pronunciation, but Infjords, I'm not going to try. Minute freshwater like life forms such as slate and unicellular algae. When juveniles, they'll eat baby brine shrimp, young Delphia, and microworms. So, all right, I got one of the 6 things there. Again, pronunciation is not my gift in life. So there's a lot of words there that's like, yeah, I'm not even going to try. But thank you for that tidbit there, Tank. That's very helpful there. Check it down. All right, I think we're getting close. Deb's Aquapets. How's it going, Deb? Good to see you here on this Monday Musing stream. Really excited to start talking about this ply here, and I think I'm about to the bottom here. All right, I'm getting closer. We got Vibes Aquatics here as well. Welcome, Vibes. Good to see you here. We're checking through. I'm almost to the bottom. We also got Sandy here saying hi, everyone. Hi to you, Sandy. Another frequent visitor and longtime supporter of the channel. Appreciate you here, Sandy. We also got Nathan Hovey here. I think it's Hovey. Whatever it is. Nathan, good to see you here. Want to steal it today? I send over. All sorts of awesome folks. Here, Mrs. Freak, of course, giving out one of the stickers here as well, which, by the way, if you're wondering how you can get access to one of those stickers, all you got to do is become a member. To get the stickers, it's just $2 a month here, and it helps me not only feed the fish and do everything that I do here. It's never, expected, but it's just that much more help to allow me to do what I do, whether it's, taking care of the fish here, keeping the lights on, the heaters running, feeding the fish here, and also going to some of these conventions here, which I got an announcement coming on one of the conventions here very, very soon. It's getting close, but I am going to, or going to at least try to go to a convention in Des Moines here, actually. That's coming up 2 weeks from yesterday. So that should be a lot of fun there. It sounds like we already got some great vendors coming there. We'll definitely have a live stream on there. Maybe do a video as well there as well, just kind of showing off the highlights and such. We'll see. But I got a little announcement coming up on one of the bigger conventions here later. So I'm not going to talk about it today because there are still some little bits and pieces to figure out here, and I want to make sure that that is feasible before I announce such. But keep an eye open for that. I would say hopefully within, well, I don't want to put a timetable on it, but sometime soon, going to have an announcement about one of the really big conventions here coming up. All right, I think I'm finally caught up with everybody here. It keeps jumping on me here. Daggone chat. Well, doggone chat on StreamYard. It's awesome. I mean, having so many people to talk to, it's a good problem to have. In fact, it's not really even a problem when you think about it. There's the wife there. Is Mac in it yet? No. Mac is not quite in this thing yet. He is in his 40-gallon breeder yet. I am starting to set up some more filtration for this, as when I went to the Nebraska Aquarium Society swap, which would have been a week ago from yesterday, a friend of mine, well, actually, yeah, I'd say friend of mine that used to work at one of the area stores here, had a FX5 canister, which is basically like an FX6 before there were actual FX6s out there. It sold it off there, and get this, guys, $50. Traditionally, I don't like saying what I spend on things because I don't want to sound boastful or bragging. But I mean, $50 for that kind of, I mean, I say it's basically an FX6, just older. Before they had FX6, FX5 was its similar model, just older. But it's really cool to add that on, especially with all the other filtration we have on there too. It's not quite running on there yet, partially because I've been caught up with other stuff there, but gonna get that going here probably once we wrap this up. Or maybe we make a late night musing streaming out of it. I haven't done a late night musing stream in a while, which kind of like those, just for their chill, and we just hang out there as we, wind down for the night. Have to do one of those again here later. Rye Guy, that's right. You're the one that asked that earlier. But yes, Tanked Aquatics, thank you once again for that bits of information there earlier with feeding the baby puffers up there earlier. That's useful information. And it's why the fish fam is so awesome. Because everybody, I mean, there's all sorts of people that love all sorts of different fish. And that's the cool thing about this. We all know different things and such. So it's a good way to spread out knowledge to everybody and help everyone get the best out of their fish. Okay, we got Craig's Catfish Cave in here as well. Welcome aboard, Craig. Good to see you. Oh, here we go. And we got Whip's World. What's going on, Whip? Good to see you here. I believe you were actually at the Quad City swap there earlier, which unfortunately I did not make. But Whip, you go into the Des Moines swap later? That, I believe, like I said, I just said it. It is 2 weeks from yesterday, or it's in 2 weeks from yesterday. A little bit of a mix up on the vocabulary there. All right. It looks like I am finally, every time I say it, it looks like we're finally caught up, then it jumps. There we go. Yep, there's Vibe down there. All right. At long last. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. So today, plywood tanks. Want to talk a little bit about that. As Whip would say, let's get tanked, or specifically, plywood tanked. So, plywood tanks. First and foremost, why do we even, how did plywood tanks even become a thing? Why do people build these things? Well, first and foremost, as we all know, glass, one, very heavy. Two, and especially nowadays, I mean, even acrylic at this point, very heavy. And both glass and acrylic are very expensive right now. They're kind of one of those items that have kind of gone up with the rest of the inflation here in the country right now. But, I mean, so has wood. But the cool thing about wood, though, is it's still exponentially less than, especially acrylic, depending on what thickness you get and such, and the glass. So, I mean, and the cool thing is, too, while it's still a bit of an awkward thing to care from, plywood tanks also can be a little bit later, but a little bit more on that later. But the main reason why a lot of people build plywood tanks is because it's very much a cheaper option to where if you want a bigger aquarium. I mean, for example, as I've said a few times now, this is a 510-gallon plywood tank behind me. How much do you think that would be if it was just all glass? I can tell you now, it would be thousands and thousands of dollars. You're probably talking even potentially in the 5 digits in the dollar sign there. And obviously, not a lot of us have $10K or so just lying around. And there are better things in life for us to really just get a loan on versus, a big, huge fish tank. Not that I would ever be fully against it if I had that kind of, income. But, compared to, a house loan, unfortunately, 10 grand is just a lot to pay. So, and the cool thing with the plywood tank, until you start doing the epoxy, is, you can also do it in bits and pieces if you need to. Again, anything that comes with the ceiling, that's a different topic, which we'll get on here later. But the main reason a lot of these plywood tanks get built is because, you can make all sorts of awesome tanks here that are hundreds of gallons. Or if you want to even go crazy, like an awesome channel that I know, Aquarium Domain, which if you're interested in building a plywood tank, I would highly recommend you check out his channel. In fact, he's actually in the series of building a plywood tank now. He's got a little video series going on there. But, plywood tanks, depending on how you build it and how crazy you want to go, you can easily build one that's hundreds of gallons, sometimes even thousands and such. I think the biggest plywood tank I've seen is nearly 5,000 gallons, and it's insane. But it's what you can do, and you're paying like, well, it's still going to be an expensive project. It's going to be exponentially less versus buying a aquarium that's made of just nothing but acrylic or glass. And it probably, I mean, a plywood tank is still going to be quite heavy, but it's still not going to be as bad as an acrylic or glass tank, which isn't saying much because it's still, like I said, going to be extremely heavy. But nonetheless, there's a lot of cost-effective benefits for plywood tanks, including this one. We'll talk about the ceiling here in a minute, but I also see we got a couple of new folks in here joining the chat here. We got Vinoski. How's it going? Good to see you here. Another longtime supporter here on the channel. Appreciate you, Vinoski, always checking in here. We also got 3G saying hello. Hello to you, 3G. Great to see you. And I see people saying his name, but I'm trying to look for his initial comment. There you are. There we go. We got Chattanooga Ed in here saying, hi, Austin. And everybody, I'm driving my dad from hardware store to the hardware store. Oh, from hardware store to hardware store. Mix that up a little bit. I'm going to have to catch the replay when I get home. No worries, Ed. Hey, I just appreciate you coming in here saying hi. Hopefully, maybe even dropping a like while you're at it too. If not, that's okay, because people have the right to like and watch whatever the heck they want. But I just appreciate you coming in here, Ed, and appreciate you watching the replay here later if you're watching this here in the future. Hello from the past. Hi, future Ed. All right. Get myself back to the present day chat. Oh, now it's jumping again. There we go. Oh, there we go. Chattanooga Ed, speaking of the like button there earlier. Hey, guys, don't forget that the like button. Ed was number 13. Say, well, I'd have no idea where that is because unfortunately on StreamYard, it does not show that. But that's not the main thing. The main thing here is to basically just hang out with all you fish folk and talk about awesome stuff such as this. Now, plywood tanks. Some people may be wondering, like, well, okay, if I'm building a tank that's hundreds and hundreds of gallons, or maybe even the thousands, how do you filter these things exactly? Well, I myself am going to have 2 separate canister systems on this. That's one way you could do it. There's another way here as well, which we'll get to here in a second. But, I mean, if you go on Amazon, too, there are all sorts of awesome, like, canister filters that are even built, like, for a pond grade and such. Like, the one canister that I have is a pond grade filter, and it does about 1,500 gallons. So, I mean, yeah, you put that on there and think about that. I mean, 510 gallons is a lot, but then you put on a canister filter that's graded to do triple that, then yeah, it's very easily done there. You just got to be careful about which one you got. The one gripe I have about my canister filter is I didn't make sure it had an internal pump system, thus creating a little bit of confusion. But one got it figured out, so you know that's also one of these times I'm going to get that finger right. You over there. There we go. Behind this slate rock there is an external pump in there that brings in the water here and such and helping us keep those nitrates, ammonias in check as we starting to introduce some life to this back here. And then, like I said earlier, adding an FX5 here as well, which will do even more so. Another great option, of course, is a sump filter, which I would say a lot of people will say is the best way to do this tank. And I will admit, I myself have never had a sump filter on any kind of aquarium that I've had. So I can't speak too much about the benefits that they pose, but I can say on the very little that I do know, it's probably the best way, especially if you're talking about a tank that's, yeah, like what I got here, like hundreds of gallons versus also, or especially if you're going into the thousands as well. I would highly recommend you consider the sump route overall, which honestly, I mean, especially if you're in the thousands, it's probably the most efficient way to do it by far. I mean, you look at, I don't think I've seen a single plywood tank that's close to 1,000 or above 1,000 that is not doing a sump system of some sort. But I mean, I guess if you want to go ahead, I mean, you build a 1,000 gallon plywood tank and, you know, you want to go out, buy 3-4 FX6 canisters from Fluval and such, and, you know, drop $1,200 to $1,300, then, hey, go right at it. But I feel like also, I mean, when you start bringing in that price tag as well, and I mean, you think about one $1,200 and $1,300, you almost just as well just get the sump there. In fact, it probably would be cheaper too. And sometimes, believe it or not, while we talk about plywood tanks, some people even build plywood sump tanks. I talked about his channel here earlier, Aquarium Domain. It's another one. He kind of went into like how he built one for an absolutely huge tank of his. He's got like a 3,000 gallon plywood tank. And to those of you that are not familiar with his work, and if you're not familiar with that tank, I highly recommend you, hopefully after we're done here, go check that out there, because he walks you through exactly how he built that, and how he, even little bits and pieces of how he built a plywood sump, which is the next thing. But highly recommend you check that out if you're not familiar with that already. I'm continuing here in just a minute. I see we got a couple of new folks in here. We got Fish and Floral. How's it going? Love those fish in the icon too. Golden beauties, indeed. Speaking of just earlier, Jess, we got the Aquatic Morning Show saying hi all. Hello to you, Jess. Great to see you here. Love that morning show every single time. Who is also doing some afternoon streams as well. So, I don't know, Jess, are you starting to push yourself to be the Aquatic Morning / Post Morning Show? Or afternoon, I guess? Whatever you want to call it. Either way, Jess, love what you do there. And that's always nice to wake up to, the Aquatic Morning Show, hearing what Jess is up to, as well as some other fish folk out there as well. It's a great one overall. Coral, what if you built a massive canister filter out of PVC with screw ends for accessing your media? It could be done. I've seen some people use some PVC piping in like a 5-gallon trash bucket before. A channel that I think gives a very good how to build video on that would be SC Fish Keeping. I know a few of you here are already familiar with Zach and such, who's a fellow Omahan, by the way. Ran into him a couple times. Awesome guy. But I would say Zach, SC Fish Keeping, also has a very good video on exactly how you could do that as well. But yeah, Coral, I'd say some PVC would definitely be done. Could be done as well. You probably still want to do some slip ends and such with some primer and glue and such, but it could definitely, that could definitely be done. I myself have never built it. I'm sure someday I will, though, because I keep watching that video off and on, and it looks really cool. One of these times I got to give it a try. You're going to have to get an external pump, though, too, at some point, too, which will also help it run. But yeah, one of these times, I would highly recommend anyone that's thinking of building their own canister. SC Fish Keeping's got a very good how-to video on that. See, going through here. Tanked Aquatics, yes. 84 by 48 inches glass panel with 3.8 and a 0.65 thickness weighs. Yeah, that's the thing. These tanks, especially when you start talking about throwing glass in the equation, or acrylic. Acrylic sometimes can be worse. But the glass tanks are super heavy. And what happens if you drop it? And I know another thing that people sometimes ask about plywood tanks too is like, well, is it safe? Like, is it going to leak or something? Well, that also depends on how crazy you want to go on the ceiling, which obviously I would recommend for obvious reasons that do not take any shortcuts there, because that is how you get leaks. That is the one thing about plywood tanks. Don't be careful on what you take shortcuts on. In fact, you should take as few shortcuts as possible, because again, shortcuts is how you run into trouble. But at the same time, I would say this. Obviously, we've heard about glass aquariums eventually having their seals and such get old, and having to reseal them, or springing leaks and that stuff. Same thing with acrylic tanks. They eventually can spring a leak and such, and issue. However, how many of you guys have heard about a plywood tank leaking? When these things are built right, and that's the thing, like I say, you want to be very careful about what shortcuts you all take. Because, this is something that, it takes time, it takes patience, and still a little bit of money to build. But if you're willing to accept all of those, you can still build an amazing aquarium that can last years and years and years. A friend of mine had this before me, had salt water in it, hence why we got a little bit of white still on the sides there. It's getting a little bit better there, but that's why that's there. And I mean, they had this up and running for like, I want to say at least 5 years or so, something around that. And it was then sitting in a garage for just shy of 2 years. And now here it is. I mean, by the time you include the time that it was with a friend and his friend of friend and sitting here in the basement versus up to this day now where it's looking as it does, I mean, this tank is probably around 7, 8 years old. And I mean, it's still looking pretty solid, guys. And speaking of solid, that's the next thing. These aquariums, I mean, you always got to worry about with glass aquariums too. Like, I know me, when I'm moving aquariums downstairs here into my basement or the fish room, I'm always leery about the glass ever hitting anything. And of course, you want to be careful with the viewing panel because you're probably going to use glass or acrylic there. I don't know what else you'd really use, especially if you're getting in the hundreds of thousands range. You kind of need to have that strength. But the cool thing with the plywood tank, I mean, these things are going to take a lot more abuse too than an acrylic or glass tank would as well. But I would also say that it's kind of it's a bit of a weird thing to. Oh, too, I was just seeing another question there. I'll get to you in just a minute there, Bunny Viper. But that's the next thing with these things too. I mean, it shouldn't be put to the test very much because, well, that's again how trouble starts. But these aquariums too, I mean, you bump something against your glass tank, you can get a chip on the edge, and then you got to worry about like, oh crap, is that going to spring a leak later? Should I do something? Put a little silicone there. I mean, this one right here, I mean, this is built out of 3/4 inch plywood and a 2x4 frame in there. I mean, I can just go, and I mean, it's like hitting a cement wall, like literally. I can knock on that thing all you want. I mean, the fish don't even know I'm doing anything. Like it's literally like knocking on a cement wall. That's the next cool thing about these is that yeah, they're just when you do them right, they can just be literally a brick freaking wall. All right, Bunny Viper, I saw your question earlier. Where did it go? I could have swore I saw it. Coral, though, earlier, you could have it be the height of your plywood tank and multiple loops if you wanted. It's not going to be visible through the plywood. Absolutely not. That's very true. Going through the chat where I know Bunny Viper had a question. There you are. I mean, I was looking for it. It's like, I know she asked earlier. Where did it go? But what company makes big foam backgrounds that look like riverbeds or trees? That's a good question, actually, though, Bunny Viper, because honestly, I haven't done anything like that in my tanks, not yet. I am thinking about maybe eventually getting something like that for this tank, but I also don't want to make it go too far out because, I mean, the 3'3" part is, well, we have it for a reason because when you put a Maboo puffer in there, we all know that how absolutely huge these fish get. So, I mean, the fact that it's even 3'3" is still a little bit to where it's like once he reaches his full glory, which is just shy of 3 feet. Sometimes usually about once they get to about 1.5 feet, their growth spurt slows down tremendously. He's still growing about an inch every month and a half-ish or so, which is just nuts. But I mean, that's kind of the next thing too. I've been a little leery of putting a 3D background back there. It's for that reason. But to answer your question, Bunny Viper, unfortunately I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not 100% sure why that went down earlier too. See if somebody in the chat here has an idea here. Coro actually might have the answer here, perhaps. Thinking it's ZoomEd. That might be actually Coro. I'm not 100% sure, but Ivy, maybe that answers the question there, hopefully. And looking at this comment, I would say it does. Coral, thank you. Looking for her is out of the country, but I'm definitely going to check ZoomEd. Yeah. I about said zoomed there. That'd have been embarrassing. Yeah, ZoomEd does awesome stuff too. I mean, reptiles, aquariums, all sorts of awesome stuff going on there. All right, get back to the chat there, which continues to jump on me like so. Crazy Craig's Catfish Cave. Getting some more Val today. Absolutely. Val is probably easily my favorite plant, which is why you see, again, I'm going to get this hand thing right one of these times, the first time. It's why I have so much Val here in the back there. It's easily my favorite aquarium plant. And it doesn't require too much attention, just a good substrate that's going to give it lots of nutrients and such. And yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton about plants, but Val is one that I've learned very quickly. You know what? If you got a good substrate and such, and at least semi-decent lighting, more times than not, you're going to have pretty good success with them. Hence why a lot of my aquariums have Val. Then it's a plant that can grow really, really tall. So if you got like this, a 31-inch tall tank, or some of them that are even bigger than that, it's a good plant to have in your background. All right. Demon Blader is a sponge filter and hang on the back filter, good for pea puffers and ember tetras and pygmy cories. Oh, okay. Let's try this one more time. Is a sponge filter and hang on the back filter good for pea puffers, ember tetras, pygmy cories, and autosinkless catfish? Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, honestly, I do a lot of hang on the backs and sponge filters with not just my puffers, but a lot of fish. I do that with my angelfish, my goldfish, my exodon tetras, I mean, my rainbows. And well, actually, no, not my rainbows. The rainbows, we have a canister filter with sponge filters, but no, nothing wrong with that at all, Demon. Not at all. I mean, the sponge filter is a awesome source of biological filtration, and your hang on the backs can have that as well, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good as like a sponge filter. I mean, in terms of like neutralizing some of the bad stuff, well, I shouldn't say bad stuff, because nitrates and nitrites aren't necessarily bad. You just don't want them to get out of control. Same thing with ammonia. Well, ammonia you don't want, period. But at the same time, it's no, that's not a bad combination at all. In fact, actually, I would say, yeah, if that's what you're doing, I'd say, yeah, you got a pretty good filtration deal there. And I see your comment down here as well. For a 40-gallon tank, yeah, that's perfectly fine. As long as you're not putting a 10-gallon grade sponge filter with a 20-gallon grade hang on the back, and you have efficient equipment for accordingly to your tank, then no, I think that's perfectly fine. Going down here, Tanked Aquatics also giving a little suggestion here to Bunny Viper as well about your backgrounds comment there earlier, Ivy. 3D foam backgrounds. Aqua Decor. Yeah, that is a company that I think I've heard of before. Can't exactly remember where, but I'm pretty sure I've heard from before. Like I say, I've thought about getting it for this though as well, but I also don't want to take too much space away. How's it going, Boots and Cats? Boots and Cats, 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 Boots and Cats. That is so fun to say. Hey, but Boots and Cats, good to see you here. Saying hello. Back at you. Going through the chat, we got Legacy Hobbyists. How's it going, Melvin? Don't think I said hi to you yet earlier, but welcome aboard here, Melvin. Always great to see you here whenever we're streaming or doing anything, period. Going down. That chat just loves to jump from place to place today. Big Shrimpin'. How many Exodon tetras do I have? How are they? I've always wanted a tank of them. I currently, trying to think. I've had them for a little over a year, and maybe closer to a year and a half at this point. And they've done pretty good. They live in a 55-gallon aquarium right now. I have thought about maybe eventually ditching the 55 and bumping them up to a 75. However, they, there's no deaths going on in there. They eat just fine. They swim around just fine in their little school and such. They occasionally get a little feisty with each other, but that's usually if I leave their light on too long. That's usually just their way of telling me, like, hey, turn the light off, please. But they're good. I think if my mind serves correctly, Steve, I want to say I have around 10. It's kind of hard to count them, though, because it's almost like a Tiger Barb 2.0. They're always moving around. It's like, that's another fish where, yeah, you're going to get like your Thunderdome. They're always moving around there. And you want to see them really go crazy, give them some brine shrimp or bloodworms. That's an awesome fish. If you're thinking about getting them, Steve, I highly recommend it. They're an awesome fish. And unlike red belly piranhas or a lot of other piranhas, they don't get over a foot big either. They sometimes I'm not 100% on this. Actually, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to say one thing and be wrong. But actually, I think they get somewhere between 4 to 6 inches, something like that. I think more around the 4 range. They don't get very big at all. Actually, I take that back. Somewhere between 4 to 6, I believe, is where they get. You'll definitely want to double check my words there because I might be a little off there, but exponentially less than, like, say, a red belly piranha, which can grow over a foot. It takes a long time for a red belly sometimes to reach that, but nonetheless, they can reach it. At least with the Exodon Tetra, you ain't got to worry about that. All right, going down here. Coro, what's your favorite valve variety? Mine, I would have to say I really like Jungle Val. I like how tall it gets, how big the, maybe not leaves, but the plant itself gets. I think it's really cool just how tall I can get. I mean, I think a fish store here once had some Jungle Val, and it was like taller than me. Like Jungle Val is just crazy, and that's kind of one thing I like about it. It doesn't really matter how tall an aquarium you get in your home. Jungle Val can fill up that background pretty quick if you give it, like I say, a decent substrate and decent lighting. It can fill up that background no problem. But I would say a good second place for me. I haven't kept it in a while. I want to again at some point. But I had some corkscrew Val once upon a time that was really cool. I mean, same concept, just a grass-like looking plant. Only instead of a straight leaf, it spirals like a corkscrew, of course, which I'm sure you already know. But that would probably be my top 2 favorite. I've also had some like red Jungle Val, which was kind of interesting. I don't know why it gets red because every time I've had it, it's more like a golden green or something. Probably because you need like some sort of iron in your tank, iron content to get in there. But I don't get that deep with my plant knowledge. That would be maybe a question for Stephen P., who has awesome stream right before us here, which I'm sure a lot of you indulged on that earlier. Absolutely, Melvin. Always good to see you as well. Up, I see people talking about her. Where's she at? Where's she at, though? Where's she at, though? Either way, checking through the chat. Yes. Okay, Aquatics and Exotics. Susie, how's it going? Saying what's going on? Not a lot, just always musing on these Mondays here, right in front of a plywood tank, which will soon be home to a Maboo puffer. Looking very forward to having that day come along. Demon Blader. I presume you're talking about the 40-gallon breeder. Well, in terms of how many PE puffers would be good in that scape, it kind of depends on what you all have in there, which I know you told me you had Ember Tetras, Autosynchronous, and that stuff. It kind of also depends on what you have for an aquascape because, pea puffers, I mean, people have had success sometimes in these bigger tanks like what you have, keeping fish with them. I guess it also depends on how many you have right now. Currently, if you're thinking about 4. I mean, if you're having 4 total in a 40 breeder with all those fish, yeah, I would say that'd be probably okay. I would also still say, just to keep yourself on the safe side, make sure you have plants, rocks, woods, just creating bits of territory and like maybe just some places where some other fish, if those pea puffers get a little temperamental, the other fish have places to get out of their line of sight and, stay out of harm's way. That's the main thing I learned with puffers. If you want to ever try tank mates, one, make sure your tank is big enough, which 40-gallon breeder for pea puffers, especially just 4 of them, absolutely, that's plenty. Hey, but also going down and just make sure, like, even little caves, woods, and such, just places where other fish can get away from each other when one of them gets cranky. And yep, Tank second following up on that too. Appreciate you, Tank, there checking in there on that. But yes, that's the main thing. Yeah, really with any puffers, make sure that there's places where they can get out of the puffer's line of sight because they are still a puffer, hence they are territorial. So that is a thing that you got to keep in mind. Crown Tail, don't think I said hi to you earlier. How's it going, Crown Tail? Great to see you here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Big Tank Hank. How's it going, Hank? Lurking while driving. Appreciate you checking in here as we hang out here today, Hank. Another awesome channel there that brings a lot of awesome fish folk on his channel. All right, checking through here. Yep, all sorts of awesome folk here. If anybody has like a question regarding plywood tanks and such, feel free to let me know. But here's the next thing too, and I'm sure a lot of people will be like, yeah, no, dumb, this part. But the cool thing is on plywood tanks too, I mean, nothing says you have to build them like a rectangle. I mean, it'd be pretty hard to build it in a sphere-like thing or anything round at all. But I mean, like, say you maybe want a corner tank, which, I mean, if you haven't looked, King of DIY, he built one of those. I would say if you do a corner tank, though, your best bet there would probably be to do something like around a diamond shape or something. I've actually been thinking about building one of those for my Fahaka Puffer Finley in that corner, and then moving the 150 just down the wall a little bit. I make that sound like it would be easy. That 150-gallon tank is so freaking heavy. I'm not looking forward to moving that. But, I mean, that's the next thing about plywood tanks. They can come in all sorts of sizes, but they only are in shapes as well. Like, if you want to build this a square one, that's like, I don't know, maybe you want to build one that's like, I don't know, 3 feet by 3 feet. Just a 3 by 3 foot square. Or bigger than that even. I mean, yeah. As long as it has edges, I mean, like I say, you're probably not going to have very much luck getting anything in a round shape or anything. Probably not going to pull off a bow front too easily either. But that would be another route you can take there. And I mean, yeah, you can really build it into whatever shape you need it to as well. Just like I say, as long as you're not looking for anything in the round department. Gotta make your points, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, Demon. Oh yeah. Peas can kill almost any small fish in its way. The thing about pea puffers, and this is a reason why they're awesome, but it's also why they sometimes still can be a fish that you proceed with caution when putting tank mates with them. Is for the exact reason that you just said right there. And I mean, the thing is that these pea puffers, they have such big personalities and such. They think that they're this big, huge, predator-like fish, like some other puffers, like say a maboo or something, which is crazy because a maboo is probably known as one of the top docile puffers out there, probably, which is kind of crazy when you think about its size. But I mean, pea puffers, they don't always realize that they're about the size of a fingernail. So I mean, it's kind of crazy, but that doesn't stop them from, if they don't like the company that they're with, that's not going to hold them back from doing business and going on a rampage. So, yes, you want to make sure, like I said, and Tank said earlier, and it seems like you already got the idea there as well. Yeah, make sure there's still ways for other fish to get the heck out of the way when it needs to. Craig's Catfish Cave. Do all puffers' tails look like they swim with a clamped fin? I mean, if they really want to get moving, they'll spread out their fin. But I mean, they can. But I mean, a lot of the freshwater puffers that I've had, I mean, Dragon, Arrowhead, Cross River, Pea Puffers, Amazons, Figure Eights, Green Spotteds, Fahaka, Maboo, Spotted Congos, Red Congo. Oh, Hairy Puffer. I mean, yeah, they all have like that tail that, yeah, they can swim if it clamped, but they can also spread it out. And usually they do that if they're like looking to get the heck out of town. Like they feel like there's danger or something and just want to swim out of the area. Of course, as we all know, if they also feel threatened, they'll inflate themselves like so. But yeah, all of them still have that ability. Yes. And yeah, trying to, my best advice, yes. Research your fish. And I'll go on top of that, Tank, and say, don't just research your fish, but go to multiple sources. Don't just do one. Like, it's same thing with me. Like, I have some care guide videos, or at least my version of a care guide. That's all I call them. It's like, hey, there's all sorts of care guides. Like, you look at me for, like, pea puffers. I guarantee you, there's at least dozens of other YouTube channels out there that have done a pea puffer care guide outside of me. And I would highly recommend, go watch the other guys too. Don't just watch me. Or same thing, like, I don't know, if you were looking at like rainbows or angelfish or a tetra or a beta sorority tank, don't just go to, liveaquaria.com. That's just one, recommendation. Not saying that's where I always go. But, maybe also, go check out Aquarium Co-op. Go check out KG Tropicals and see what they got to say. Go check out, some of these other channels and, Google pages on there too. Because, never just go with one source too. Look up multiple places about a certain fish that you really want to keep. And the more and more sources you read, the more common denominators you're going to find. And once you start finding those kind of things like, okay, this site and this site and this site is all saying like this fish grows about 6 inches. Okay, I can expect it to grow about 6 inches versus, maybe one of them also saying like, oh, this one's saying they grow up to 8, but the other 3 I read earlier said I could expect about 6 inches. That's why no, go to multiple sources. Don't just go to one, not even 2. I would say go, my magic number, at least go get 3 different sources. By then you're gonna start seeing the patterns and the similarities of like, okay, this site's saying this is saying this, stuff like that. I could go on and on about that, but yes, I cannot initiate that enough. Go to multiple sources, especially when you're not that familiar with fish. Go to multiple sources. Don't just go to one. Don't just watch me. Don't just watch Corey at Aquarium Co-op. Don't just watch John and Lisa at KD Tropicals. Go to multiple sources. But anyway, rant over there. Keystone Clash saying hello, everyone. Hello to you, Keystone Clash. It's going to be an awesome event there for sure in Pennsylvania there in September. Definitely looking forward to hopefully getting out there for sure. I see all sorts of awesome fish folks are signing up for Fish 2 memberships. It's definitely what I would end up doing if I go there as well. Looks like an awesome event. Like I say, I need to get over there too. But like I say, we also got a fish swap going on in Des Moines as well. 2 weeks from yesterday, actually. Not going to be anywhere near the amount of vendors like what the Keystone Clash is going to have. Keystone Clash, I've already seen some past videos of what they've had there. And guys, I tell you what, if you are closer to me, because, of course, I live about 18 hours away from Morgantown, Pennsylvania, the location where the awesome Keystone Clash will be held. And it's going to be, it's going to be pretty cool. Freshwater, saltwater. Tell you what, guys, if you can make it, it's going to be a pretty awesome event. I know a lot of awesome fish tubers are going to be there too, as well as just awesome fish folk in general. Not even just the YouTube side. It's just going to have a bunch of awesome fish folk there in general. So, that's what these conventions are all about. Not just the Keystone Clash, Aquashella, or, just your local ones. That's what these swaps are all about. Get out and about, see what everybody likes, talk fish and just, geek out on whatever fish you love talking about. That to me is the best part of these. The part of these swaps that I look forward to the most is not like, ooh, wonder what I can go buy there. Wonder what all the options are going to be at the vendors. Part of it's just going out and meeting people and just talking about fish and aquariums and just the hobby that we love to do. That's honestly the best part of those swaps and such. So if you're anywhere around that or got a swap in your neighborhood, check them out. That's the best thing you can possibly do with them. All right, my chat was jumping again there. I saw we had a super chat up there earlier. There we go. Vibes Aquatics. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Greatly appreciated. Money, it always helps. It's never expected, but always helps and is greatly appreciated. Appreciate you very much for that, Vibes. Saying, we're watching you right now. Watching all sorts and such. Well, greatly appreciated, Vibes. They're checking in here as we keep going on this Monday Musing stream. Greatly appreciate you for that. And however you're watching, whether if you're just joining now or you've been with us from the beginning, or maybe you're just sitting here watching the replay. Greatly appreciate however you're doing it. It's awesome just to see the people coming in here and having so many folks to chat with. That's the best part. Checking down here. Boots and Cats, yes. I'm very excited about the clash here too. I keep following very closely about what they're doing and such here. Like I say, I'm not saying for sure that, because again, September, a lot can happen between now and then. But I'm definitely making a push because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably not going to any Aquashellas this year. Not that I didn't like Aquashella Chicago. I thought Aquashella Chicago was awesome, but not so much. I mean, the vendor tables are cool, and there was a lot of great selection there because, I mean, hey, it's how I got, again, with the finger things. Dang it. There we go. This wood piece, I mean, yeah, got that from Aquashella. So, I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. But I would definitely say that, well, the fact that they're not in Chicago, too. I mean, Daytona, yikes. That's like even further than Pennsylvania. And I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, Daytona would be cool. But I feel like if you go to Florida, then how do you not go to Disney World or Universal Studios or something? But I thought about Dallas for a minute, but family and I are actually going to be doing a vacation and such in May and such. So I'm thinking that, yeah, none of the Aquashellas, probably not going to make any of those this year, but the Keystone Clash would be really cool. I'm going to make a big stride to make that, hopefully. All right, going down here. We are at 6:03 already. I believe the Metalheads will be going live here in about 6-7 minutes here. Make sure you go check out that here once we're done here. Keystone Clash, really? Oh, well, there we go. Crayfish Empire just signed up as a vendor. They are coming from Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, I know some folks here in Iowa. I mean, funny enough, actually, Keystone, I met some people at the Omaha swap, which was a week ago from yesterday. There are a couple people that have actually, one, heard about the Clash. Two are like, are you going? Are you going? I know we've heard you talking about it. Are you thinking of going? It's like, yeah. And like I say, the drive, I guess, is not so much what I'm worried about. It's just more a matter of, just making sure nothing pops up right now. So, yeah, that's the main thing right now that I'm kind of down back on. It's like, well, it's not till September, so not going to make a final decision right now because, I mean, for example, I didn't expect to get a new car about a month ago, but along comes a deer in the middle of the road, and just like that, dun dun, I got a new car. So it's, life throws a lot of curveballs and such. So I have learned that the hard way too many times. Hence why I pump the brakes. But really want to make that. Yeah, definitely want to make your event. It's looking really, really cool. And if I should get the final decision here, I mean, I'm going to tell you all what's going on. I'm not going to just leave everybody here in the dark because I know a lot of you guys are going. And I want to let you know what I'm doing too, since you guys are all letting me know what you're doing. But at some point, yeah, definitely want to get there. All right, going down through the chat here. Tanked, yeah. I get tempted also. There's a reason why I'm not walking into Petco right now. I'm trying to get rid of some smaller tanks here and such. But I tell you what, I mean, I was talking about a 60-gallon breeder earlier. It's tempting. I mean, I think Matt Liquid Zoo was saying earlier that they were charging just about $100 for those. And I mean, yeah, 60-gallon or $60 for a 40 breeder. I'm with you, man. That is so tempting. Very tempting indeed. It's just, yeah. Craig's Catfish Cave, yeah. All the fish events make me want to move. Yeah, that is one thing about Iowa. We don't get a lot of big swaps here. Iowa's just, I don't want to say it's just kind of placed there, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would also sometimes think like, I'm surprised like Kansas City doesn't get anything huge, or like even Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. I mean, those are two really big cities, and I've never once heard about anything going on up there. So I mean, yeah, it kind of makes. But then I see all this stuff going on over in Tennessee, Illinois, which granted Illinois is not too far away from me, but I live on the complete western side of Iowa. Like literally, if I go any further west, I'm in Nebraska. But I mean, that hasn't stopped me before. But yeah, it makes me sometimes learn. Like I tell you what, when I went to Aquaticon, I really thought like, whew, Tennessee wouldn't be bad. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'd have to get used to not having a basement, but I tell you what, Tennessee and just those hills and such and all that stuff. I tell you what, I thought Tennessee was absolutely beautiful. I didn't mind living in Texas though either. Texas was cool too, but I don't know. That's a totally different discussion there. But All right, going down through the chat. And there we go, the Metalheads saying we'll catch you later. That means they are getting their stream set up. Josh and Jessica are getting their show ready over there. I don't know if they got any special guests here today, but I mean, they still always got something awesome going on in that fish room there. So still highly recommend you guys go check them out. All right. Hey, that's right. I mean, hey, we got Star Trek here in Iowa, which, oh, believe me, Tank, it's a big thing. It's something that Iowa holds pretty proudly. Yeah, well, I personally haven't, Demon. I mean, there are some employees out there that know what they're doing, but I tend to get my fish, from privately owned and family owned stores, just because it's nice to go talk to them. Sketty, I might be bringing some smaller tanks with me, if anything. I just sold off like 3 of them though not too long ago, but I might bring off some stuff there. Probably nothing crazy or anything. But yeah, I might bring some stuff up there. Yeah, let me know. All right, guys. But Vibes Aquatics here is saying, yep, it is getting high time. Metalheads are going on live here in a couple minutes. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bounce. But thank you all so much here for coming through here, hanging out with us here on this Monday Musing stream. Greatly appreciate every single one of y'all. I see we were well over 40 people here for a while, which is always awesome to see. And even now, still just under that as well. Greatly appreciate all of y'all coming in here, hanging out with us here today. I did just release a new video here, kind of showing off the new fish that I got from the Omaha swap earlier, as I was speaking about that earlier. So if you're interested and didn't see the live stream from when I did that earlier, feel free to check out that video showing off all the new fish that we have down here as well. I also did a little piece. I don't want to hit my screen again. We also talked a little bit about this tank and maybe some ideas that I have for this tank. So if you're kind of curious to see where I'm at with this, which is totally drained, has been now for a week, feel free to check out that video as well. Hopefully I can get my camera back on the computer. There we go. And yeah, feel free to check out that new video there as well. That's just on my channel. And if you don't want to, though, totally fine. People can watch whatever they want to watch. But speaking of watching, go check out the Metalhead stream here. If Matt, if you're still here, if you could drop that link here in the chat below here, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I'll drop it here myself momentarily. But thank you all for watching. All the continued support, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all in the next video, everybody. As always, stay fantastic.